life. I'm learning and growing right alongside you. And today I want to share about my observations, my realizations about relationships. This is not the first time I've talked about relationships, but this is the first time I've talked about relationships in this particular series, building the life that I can only imagine series. So, but like I said, I've talked about relationships a lot over the years. A lot of y'all may not know, but I am a social worker, 20 almost 27 years now, and I do have a certification as a life coach in life and relationships. So just to let you all know as well. So I have a lot of background, a lot of knowledge, and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I've talked about relationships a lot before, but today what struck me, Mel Robbins was doing a video. Oh my God. Every time I come on here, y'all, and tell y'all about somebody, I can't think of the people's names, but I can tell you who he was. You should be able to find him, I'm sure. He was a divorce attorney, and he wrote a book talking about relationships and the things that can help you have a happier marriage and that kind of thing as well. So he, like I said, I just saw his interview with Mel Robbins today, and it just some things that he talked about reminded me about um, my relationships I've had, not just romantic, but he was talking about, of course, marriage and that kind of thing. I'll just stay on marriage and stay on just marriage or non-marriage, but whatever kind of relationship you may have, whether you marry or not. So I'll just stick with that. But like I said, he just reminded me and just made and just drilled into my head. I guess from like I said from what I heard earlier, so it was about like an hour and a half interview actually, and it just reminded me that we have to, when you're in a relationship, you have to, excuse me, you have to keep checking in with your partner because things can definitely change in a moment's notice. Excuse me. And what I mean by that, like I said, he was talking about, and what I see by that as well, because I know each one of us, whether you're a man or a woman, whoever you are, you're going to evolve and you're going to change throughout your life. I think I read somewhere in one of the psychology magazines, Psychology Today or some years ago, about how people normally change a facet, something about themselves every 3 months or so. And if you've been together with your partner for, I'll just say 5 years, that's a lot of growth. I put it that way. No matter whether it's a good growth or a bad growth, is how I look at that one. But like I said, that's definitely a lot of growth. And sometimes we forget that. We, of course, you get married young and or in your 20s or late teens, that kind of thing. We forget that people will change throughout their lives and our lives and in our relationship. And I know we always want to resort back to the first thing that we all know, and the easiest thing is that this person was this way back when I married them. Why are they not the same way? They should still be the same way, the same person that I married, and they're not. Or the same person I got into this relationship with, and they're not. But what we have to understand is that people are going to change. Sometimes that change is bringing you all together more, and sometimes it's driving you apart. But like I said, it just made me realize that early, which I already knew that I've talked about it and that kind of thing. Like I said, this was just the biggest reminder today as I think about my partner and the past partners I've had and the marriage I had. I'm divorced now and that kind of thing. Just to remind me that people are going to change regardless as to how many, as to whatever kind of relationship you're in. Like I said, they're going to change for the better or they're going to change for the worse. There's no other ways to change, I guess, or stay stagnant, because some folks stay stagnant as well and don't do anything. Just coast through life not doing anything, not improving, not um, getting worse, but not doing anything. And that's just as bad to me as getting worse. And like I said, what I had to remember is, like I said, dealing with the relationships I've had, I just had, like I said, that was the biggest reminder for me today. Well, I mean, that wasn't the only one, but that was one of the biggest reminders for me today. And the reason why I'm bringing this up in this video, the first thing is that I know that a lot of y'all probably are in relationships as well. I don't care if you're married or not; it does not matter. You do the same thing that you do in a marriage that you do in a regular relationship. To me, you're doing the same thing. You're waking up. You're going, I guess, taking care of the house. You're paying the bills, or however that may look for y'all relationship. Y'all trying to work together to make things work, however that may look for y'all. Married or not, is the same thing across the board. That's the same thing he said as well. That's the same thing I believe as well. And like I said, it's just a lot of change that happens, and we don't realize it until the bubble's about to pop. We're about to separate, or we're about to divorce, or something is wrong, or these issues are coming up. But we hadn't taken the time to even ask our partner, check in with our partner to see how they are doing and to find out what changes they have made and what changes that you are I guess the opposite partner have made, and whether that's conducive to that relationship still, and how it can fit in and those types of things in the relationship, what kind of compromise you all can come to, especially if it's two different things. We have to learn how to check in. And I know I used to talk about the oh, my mind is going blank, y'all. Pillow talk. That's the Lord have mercy. I used to talk about pillow talk, and I actually recorded an entire series on this channel about pillow talk, about relationships and that kind of thing. It's a few years ago. You can check all those courses that I put on here for free out. Just check them out. But I was talking about the pillow talk, how important it is every day if you can to check in with each other, not just once a month or every year or that kind of thing. People change a lot during that time. And if you're just finding out that your partner want to travel and I don't know, do all these things and you don't want to do none of that, then it's gonna be a problem. And y'all been 5, 6 years down the road. Another thing that he talked about, not just to checking in, but of course to be present with your partner. Be present, and of course, like I said, give them your attention, give them your time, and don't just sit there and ignore them. I saw a quote, and some of y'all may have seen a similar quote. I can't quote it word for word, but it says something about how no woman wants to be in a relationship and feel lonely, or no person either, no man, I'm sure either. But nobody wants to be in a relationship and feel lonely all the time. That should never be. We have to, of course, like I said, to acknowledge people, to, of course, how you doing, be cordial, be respectful. And when somebody's talking, of course, putting your phone down, all those types of things. And not just not paying any attention to anybody at all, and not even want to hear their voice at all either. I know some of the things, like I said, that we do, sometimes we get into the habit, especially with social media and that kind of thing, on our phones and that kind of thing. But we have to remember, and I have to remember too, which I don't, I'm not on social media a lot like that at all. I'm not a scroller or so, but I know my partner is. But like I said, definitely we have to remember that our partner need our time too, not just a social media post or whatever you're scrolling, looking at those kind of things either. I do these videos probably about 20 minutes a day. That's about it right now. I do a few other things online. It don't even take up that much time. I'm usually doing it while I'm on work breaks. So it's not while I'm at home, so I can intentionally make sure that I'm giving my time and my energy and my focus towards my partner or whatever's going on in the household that day. And not just ignoring people or ignoring him or not doing anything or whichever the case may be. I had to realize that as well. Like I said, that was just a reminder to me. It's something that we'll have to work on and talk about and that kind of thing as well in our own relationship at this present time. Because we don't want nobody, he or nor I, to feel lonely in the relationship when we're both in the same household. And like I said, that's something that when you're in a relationship, sometimes you just do things automatically and you don't think about them and how they're affecting your partner. And I'm hoping that this is hitting home for somebody. I guess I put it that way. But like I said, we sometimes we just do things and do things and do things and get so much in a routine that we don't even pay attention to the little things that's going on. And that's what he talked about in that interview earlier about the little things, how the little things make up all the big things and create all the problems or the happiness in our relationships. And it really does. And I know I've posted on this years in the past talking about that same exact thing as well. It's not the big thing yet. Well, it is the big things, but it's always those little small things that you overlook that's creating the negativity or the positivity in your relationship. It's always those things. I don't care if it's just saying hi in the morning, or you look nice this morning for work, or giving a compliment, or just asking how was your day, whatever it is, those little bitty things, they can make or break your relationship, y'all. And like I said before, I don't care what kind of relationship you're in, that's up to you. And that's your relationship. And you can use these same tips. It does not have to be for a romantic relationship. It can be for your kids. It can be with your mom and dad, your brothers and sisters, your friends. All these kind of rules in relationships apply usually across the board. When it comes to giving attention, checking in with people, and acknowledging somebody. All those things are across the board in every relationship that you have, even with your employer or your business partners, is the exact same thing. And like I said, sometimes we forget all those things Because life be life, and we all know that life's all the time. People die, you're grieving, people move out of town, you may move, or your pet may pass away, or you may get a new pet, kids may come about, whatever the case is, life be life in y'all. And we all understand that. But we cannot forget our partners in the progress, the process of these things happening. Because if so, somebody's going to have resentment built up. It doesn't matter which one, somebody's going to have resentment built up, and resentment and anger and bitterness at some point. If these things just keep happening, all these little things pile up. And like I said, that's something that as I'm looking back to all my relationships that I've had, even including my marriage, I see that now. And I've seen it before as well, because like I said, I've talked on this before, or something similar to this before. And like I said, I know that all the little things end up being all the big things in the relationships, and it can make or break you. Like I said, I've had a marriage and I had a divorce, had another long-term relationship, almost 8 years, and we broke up as well, or had to separate as well. Whichever word you want to use. I'm in a relationship right now, and of course, like I said, we still work on things every single day. Every single day. It's not an easy just, oh, you're going to get with this person and things are going to be fine. That's not how things work. There's a lot of work to do in the relationship. The communication, the trust, the intimacy, all that kind of stuff. You have to keep it going in that relationship. And it's not easy when life is life and you're working. Y'all got kids, y'all got to take care of the house, all those things. Yes, while they're important as well, we usually put them above our partners and above everybody else in the household to make sure that our household is taken care of first, which I understand that, because I do that too. And I have done that too. But I'm learning how to talk to my partner first, check in first. Not saying the bills ain't being paid, not saying that, but just to make sure that I'm not putting those things as a priority over my relationships. And I probably titled this video something else, y'all. But like I said, I just wanted to share some of this stuff with y'all, because like I said, it definitely reminded me about a lot of things that I was, of course, facing and been through in my own relationships as well. All of them, including the one I have right now. Like I said, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm walking alongside y'all in the same journey as well, or similar journey as well. So like I said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Like I said, I just want to share these things because they were just in my mind today about relationships. And since I've listened to several different podcasts throughout the day today, and like I said, the relationship one really stuck out to me. That's something that's near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I am a life and relationship coach as well, and been a social worker over 27 years. And that's all based on is coaching and relationships and building rapport with people. That's all I've ever done. And like I said, just putting everything towards my own relationships, like I said, you start to see things a little bit differently. And I hope that somebody got a nugget from this video today. I have no idea what you'll get, but I'm hoping that you got something from this video today that you can apply in your own relationship that may help you along the way somewhere. Because like I said, we can't forget about our partners, y'all. If we start forgetting about our partners, they're going to forget about us and move on. That's how that normally works. And it's all those little small things that has built up. The resentment, the anger, like I said, the small things, the not saying hello in the morning, the not even cuddling, and or no intimacy, no trust, all those little things that build up to be all the big things that break people apart, or they make or break you, one of the two. And I love to see people thrive. I love to see people, of course, in good relationships and healthy relationships. I know what a bad relationship, I know what several, I know what all kind of forms of bad relationships look like. I grew up in a household like that. My dad was very abusive to my mom. Almost every single day, he beating on her for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was, because both of them are deceased, so I don't really know what the anger was about. I guess the military, I don't know. Like I said, I've seen how relationships can go downhill and be horrible and bad, and divorce and all. Because I've been divorced as well. I was cheated on in that marriage. Had 3 kids. From what I found out, that's why I left. Talked to them, let them know what was going on. I left. It wasn't much of a conversation, but I just let them know I'm leaving, because that's what I told them in the beginning. If you cheat on me, I'm gone. At least give me the respect to let me know that this is what you plan on doing, or something. That's very, very, very disrespectful. In my eyes, some of y'all may not care, or that kind of thing. I'm not talking about a poly relationship. No, I'm talking about an actual monogamous relationship where somebody's cheating. Poly's a total different thing. I'm sure there's respect in those relationships as well, and boundaries that can get crossed as well. And that can, of course, turn people off as well. The same thing as in any relationship. If the respect isn't there, then of course it's going to turn the partners off, and yet things are going to go haywire. But it does not have to be that way. We have to learn how to be honest with our partners. Open, honest, vulnerable. I always talk about that. I've been talking about that for the last 8, 9 years. And if you go back to all the videos, I'm sure I have said everything in this video in a separate video years back. I'm sure that. We have to learn how to communicate. I've always talked about how communication is key, and it really is. But it starts with checking in with your partner every chance that you, well, at least every day. Well, not at least every day, at least every week. I know every day sometimes can be kind of frustrating things going on, but at least once a week. If you can do it more than that, then go ahead and do it more than that. But at least once a week. You can use date night for that. We do that too. I'm not telling y'all something that I have not done, either currently doing or done in the past. I do the exact same things as well. So y'all, like I said, because I actually got to go pick up my partner, so I'm going to go ahead and get my butt off here. Like I said, I just want to share these things today because these things were on my mind today. Like I said, as I listen to these podcasts and different folks speaking and that kind of thing, like I said, I definitely want to just share this with y'all because I'm sure somebody can pick up some kind of nugget in this video to help transform the relationship for the better as well. So with that, y'all, again, I'm Tonetta Clay. Thank you for watching the video. And for those who watch the replay, greatly enjoy. And I still hope that you get some kind of light bulb that goes off to let you know that if there's something that you might need to change about your relationships or your relationship with yourself, one of the two. I know I'm always trying to change myself, like I said in the other video the other day, trying to be better than what I was yesterday. But that takes work. It's not a simple process, not an easy process, but it can definitely be done. Well, it sounds very easy, but it is a process, I guess I'll put it that way. But like I said, I want to see y'all thrive too, ladies. So like I said, let me know in the comments what one thing stood out in this video for you about relationships. Let me know in the comments and let me know how it impacted you as well. And if you want to share your story, feel free to share it down in the comments too. If you want to, you don't have to, feel free. So take care, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Make sure that y'all, of course, subscribe to my channel. It's Tonetta Clay. It's just my name. So make sure that you, of course, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to follow along in the videos when I do upload them. And it's been every day since this past week. So like I said, be looking out for a video tomorrow as well, y'all. Take care and have a great one. I'll see y'all tomorrow.